La comparación between bilinguals and monolinguals, effects on working memoria, by Fergie Perez, Priscilla Ruxsmith, and Kiana Santos. So I will be starting with the introduction. Working memory allows for our brains to be able to briefly hold new information, as it may be used in short-term memory and later transferred to long-term memory. Visual impact tasks and DigiSpan tasks are both used to test working memory function. Across the US, about 20% of Americans are bilingual, and in Europe, about 56% of Europeans are able to speak one or more languages. Being bilingual comes with major advantages. Bilinguals are able to task and language switch when it is most appropriate. Bilinguals are able to outperform monolinguals on both forward and backwards and back and digit span tasks that are able to tap into working memory function. We conducted our study to determine if there truly is a difference between bilinguals and monolinguals in working memory function and performance. Who will perform better on a visual impact task and DigiSpan task, bilinguals or monolinguals? We hypothesized that bilinguals would outperform monolinguals on both tasks.
Okay, so now we're just going to move right along to the method section. In this experiment, there were a total of 11 participants, and the ages were ranging from 9 to 19. The participants were either bilingual, knowing Spanish and English, or monolingual, knowing only. 6 of the participants were bilingual, and 5 of the participants were monolingual. Each participant had a trial run of both the NBAC and DigiSpan tasks. For the NBAC task, participants had to pay attention to a line of 20 individual letters as they appeared on the screen. This NBAC task in particular was a 3-back task. This meant that each participant had to remember whether or not they saw that same letter 3 letters ago compared to what was currently on the screen and respond accordingly. The participants then had to keep a tally in their mind of the order of the letters as they appeared on the screen to determine whether or not they've seen it previously. The DigiSpan task required the participants to remember the sequence of numbers exactly as they appeared on the screen. The spans range from 3 to 8 numbers. For example, one 3-digit span task may be 3, 4, 5. The participant had to remember those 3 numbers exactly to answer the sequence correctly. As the spans expanded, the participants had to remember more numbers in the correct order. The more numbers in the span, the more challenging it was to remember. For the results, in the first graph, the error bars in the graph indicate that the average percentage correct for the bilinguals on the NBAC task was 79%, and the monolinguals had an average percent of 78.8 correct. For the second graph, the error bars indicate for the spans of 3 to 8 digits for the DigiSpan task, the bilinguals had an average of 71.2 correct, and the monolinguals had an average of 77% correct. Last but not least, when focusing on the spans ranging from 6 to 8 digits specifically, the error bars indicate that the bilinguals had an average of 61.83% correct, and monolinguals had an average of 61.8% correct.
Moving along to the summary and conclusions, the results from our study demonstrated no significant differences between the bilinguals and monolinguals on the NBAC and DigiSpan task performance. To see if we had more significant results, we decided to look at the performance of our participants more closely on spans 6 through 8. In previous literature, the studies had more participants. Also, there were no differences in our results because younger participants had trouble with longer spans and only performed well on spans 3 and 4. This could be because the areas of the brain important for working memory function is underdeveloped in children compared to adults. If we could do the study again, we would add more participants so we can get a range of scores, and the average performance may have been significantly different. Running the task at different times of the day may have given us different results since the study was conducted in the evening. Lastly, changing the age range to 12 to 19 would have possibly given us significant results because younger participants had trouble with longer spans. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the help of Dr. Quincy Manella for helping us get through each step of the research study one step at a time. Also, we would like to thank each other for helping one another with each step of the study.